Hey Revolutionaries, I'm excited to kick off 2021 with my 21 points of positivity. Yes, 21 points of positivity, but I have a confession. And you know what? You're just going to have to listen to the episode to figure out what it is. I've already, just keep listening. But anyways, I'm really glad 2021 is getting started. And, you know, at the end of the year, I was working feverishly to update the website and put together for the first time a digital download for everyone that I'm calling a priming guide. Yeah, priming guide, 7 simple ways to prime yourself for reinvention. So I think one of the trickiest things is to, you know, when you feel like you want to change and reinvent yourself and pivot and do something different is, you know, you can have these ideas in your head and thoughts or things that you know that you want to do. Like, I know I need to improve my diet or get in better shape or get a different relationship, whatever it might be. But it's hard actually making the change, even though intellectually you know what to do. And so that's what this guide is for, to attack that a little bit, that process in your brain, get you primed, get you in the right headspace to to take on reinvention. So check that out. I'm excited. I'd like to hear if it, you know, what your feedback is on it, if you dig it or not, what's going on with it. Also, let me know how you like the website. So put a lot of time and effort into it. I found a cool designer to work with. Her name is Rachel. She's awesome to work with. So those are the cool things that I'm kicking off the year with. And of course, more interviews to come, so stay tuned for those. But right now, let's get to it. This episode of Jim's Reinvention Revolution is brought to you by MGS Graphics, a graphics production support firm delivering services to ad agencies, graphic designers, brand managers, retailers, and product manufacturers worldwide. MGS Graphics is not only reinventing, they are revolutionizing graphics production support. So how do they do it? Well, they free up your team to focus on big ideas while MGS Graphics handles the execution. Their skilled experts are ready to jump in when your project load spikes so you can avoid the headaches and extra overhead cost of hiring new staff. Plus, you won't lose out on work opportunities because of delivery and production timelines. Did you know their skilled staff of professionals use the best and most widely used graphics software on the market? And when it comes to project management, MGS Graphics provides the highest level of customer service by assigning you a dedicated project manager. And they use the industry-leading project management software to ensure all communication, deadlines, and deliverables are met. This allows teams and clients to collaborate with each other in real time, no matter where you are around the world. Need more than just production? MGS Graphics also has a fully staffed creative team. Ask about their design services and agency partnerships. So, if you're looking for a partner to accelerate and support your business's growth, go to mgsgraphicspro.com/JJRR for 15% off your first project. 15%? That is revolutionary. Go to mgsgraphicspro.com/JJRR. That's mgsgraphicspro.com/JJRR.
Welcome to Jim's Reinvention Revolution podcast, the show that explores reinvention in the digital age as it relates to career, creativity, and technology. Stay tuned for interviews with professionals, entrepreneurs, and creatives that have reimagined success and are making a pivot. If you'd like to listen to the entire back catalog, visit Jim'sReinventionRevolution.com for instant access. And now, here's your host, Jim.
Okay, check 1, 2. Here we go. Looks like we are recording. Hey, everybody. Hey, this is Jim. Welcome to episode 77 of Jim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. And it's time to kick off 2021. It's the new year. But before we get into it, I have a confession to make. Let's see, how do I put this? I'm just not that excited to kick off this new year. I don't know how anyone else is feeling out there, but, you know, normally when a new year comes around, it's sort of refreshing, and you do get excited because it's like, you know what, I'm going to change, or I'm going to do something different, or you're just looking forward to things that are going to happen throughout the year. And I'm just not feeling that for whatever reason, and maybe it's because, you know, 2020 was such an oddball year and really challenging for a lot of people with, the pandemic. It's still challenging, just its impact worldwide and some of the political craziness and riots and protests that were happening here in the United States this year because of the election. But I just have a different feeling this year of kicking off the year. And so instead of going down my top 10 reinventions for this year, which I thought, could be an annual thing, which I think it might be going forward, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. And, before I get into it, by the way, remember, reinvention is greater than resolution, okay? So don't get that twisted. Remember that, if you decide to make a reinvention, that it's more permanent and more staying rather than resolving to do something. That's just in my opinion, but I know if you're out there listening to JJRR, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so like I said, I feel like this different feeling rather than, excitement to kick off the year. It's a little bit different. I'm not as excited, but I remain hopeful. And so I decided to switch it up. I went for a run the other day. It's really stressing a little bit because it's like, when I do these episodes, I have to really be into it. I can't just fake it. This is the podcast is a passion project for me. And so I just have to be into it. I know that's what people want to hear out there anyways. That's where they get the value is if I'm into it, I know the listeners will be into it, you guys. So anyways, I figured, what the world needs now, what I need now is more kind of just positive things in my life. So I'm kicking 2021 off with 21 points of positivity. Yes. Okay. All right. So having said that, this list here is kind of just an ad hoc list that I could kind of just whip down off the top of my head, and they represent things that I am really looking forward to in 2021, positive things or things that I'm grateful for, etc. And you'll get the gist. And if anyone is really wondering out there what my reinventions are going to be for 2021, if you listen closely, I think you'll find what a few of them are. Anyways, all right, let's get into it right now. All right, so number one, I can't say this enough. Number one, the thing that is positive from the podcast and that I'm looking forward to in 2021 is everyone who's listening out there. Thank you so much for listening and really, being into the podcast and commenting and giving feedback. And in putting this list together, I reminded myself that, I like to read some of the reviews when they come in and shine the light on some of the people that are listening and give other people that are maybe new listeners, whatever, some insight and some what other people are thinking about the podcast. So here's two reviews that came in recently towards the end of last year. One was from Gabe, where he says, everyone needs to hear Jim's Revolution! Exclamation point. Thanks, Gabe. He gives a 5-star review. There's another 5-star review from MoMA Labs, I guess. He says, love it. Super amazing podcast with the best host. Why, thank you. And highly, highly recommend it. Highly. Wow, 3 highlies in one sentence. And 2 exclamation points. Highly, highly recommended. Highly. I like that. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody. And got some cool things coming for 2021. So I'm just going to move on to number 2 here out of 21. And one of the things is that I put together a new website. So I've updated the website, JimJimsReinventionRevolution.com. It's really cool. Super grateful for this, for my new designer that I'm working with, my friend Rachel. She's amazing, and she got it done in short order here at the end of the year. I really felt like I needed to kind of start renewing the website and pull some other things together. So that's number 2. So check it out, everybody. And going along with that, number 3 is that along with the website, Rachel also helped me put together, for the first time, a priming guide, what I'm calling a priming guide. Yeah, getting you primed for reinvention. So, if you've been listening a while, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, maybe a little bit on some of the previous episodes, but, the challenge is sometimes is not knowing what to do, but making the decision to do it. If you're trying to reinvent yourself or change or, embrace some new technology, whatever it might be. And I think it kind of just speaks to how your brain works. And so I thought, before you can even really dig into reinventing yourself that much, you got to set yourself up for it. You got to be open to it. And so that's what the priming guide is for. So if you go to the website now, you'll see, right up front on the top page of the homepage, a place where you can join the email list and download the priming guide for free. And it's got 7 ways to prime yourself for reinvention in there. And it's cool. And it's got some links in there, some reference links, some other links that go to the website that are affiliate links for Amazon. So, if you're loving the podcast and it's in the resource that's in there, if you would buy it anyways, just click through the link. I'll get some credit for it, and it will keep the podcast rolling. But you know what? Don't worry about that if you're not interested in digging in those resources. Just read through the guide, because I think it's a little bit insightful if you're just getting into this idea of reinvention. Anyways, priming guide is released. Go there and download it. Okay. All right. Number 4. I'm going to keep rolling through these since we got a lot of them. 21. One thing I'm really digging that I'm super grateful for, that's a positive thing for 2021, of course, going forward, is my sponsor, MGS Global. Yes, Aya Schlachter and her team at MGS Global. I just super grateful for you, Aya. Thanks so much for sponsoring the podcast. It's allowing the audience to receive this content and building the community. So I really appreciate your support of it. And I know she's got a new project that's going on called Architect My Life, architectmylife.com. So, Aya's amazing. She keeps reinventing herself. That's why I like her as the sponsor, because she's someone that takes action, and you can see what she's doing on a continual basis to reinvent herself. And now she's got this new brand, this new approach to her business that she's offering called Architect My Life, where she's focusing on female architects and helping them kind of take back some of their time, helping them modernize and put in efficient systems that are kind of semi-automated or self-automated, where they'll be able to make more money, get more clients, and not be overwhelmed with their business. So it's a way for them to take back their life. So check it out. It's a really cool thing. And she's starting a new podcast to go along with it. So can't wait to listen to her new podcast. So architectmylife.com. Go check that out. So thank you, Aya. All right, number 5. Let's keep rolling here. 5 and 6 are a couple of people that have been on the podcast, some reference of some of the ideas that they shared. And number 5 is a mantra that I got from Elizabeth Pampalone. Here it is. Sorry if I'm trying to find it. Hi, Elizabeth. If you're listening out there. So she was on episode 74, and her mantra is, "This is temporary." So something that she always tells herself. And you know what? There's a reference to this in the priming guide. So, again, download the priming guide. Okay. But I love it because it's sort of a triple meaning in this is temporary, meaning, if you're in tough times, this is temporary. If you're in good times, this is temporary. Keeps you more focused on the now. And I guess the third thing I think about with this is temporary is it's sort of a motivating phrase to realize, what could I be doing differently? Because, this is temporary. This all could go away. So it just kind of keeps you more focused. I really love that. So check out episode 74 and see what Elizabeth has to say. Also about her, marketing stuff, her 1 year of marketing in 5 days. I really enjoyed that episode. So number 6 is a reference to Marie Phil. So she was on episode 66, if you want to go back and check her out. And, her episode was about, this was kind of back in the throes of when I was really feeling it, feeling the pandemic blues, I think. And I wasn't sure what to do or who to talk to. But I thought Marie would be a good guest because she talks about endurance, her endurance mindset, and how to get through COVID with that. And I know everybody's feeling like this is a long haul thing. So check that out. And now Marie, by the way, she is going by Marie Adair. So she's changed her last name. She's got more of a pen name now with some of the branding stuff that she's doing. But check her out. You'll enjoy that episode. And I like the endurance aspect of just getting through everything. And I can take that into 2021. Okay. Number 7. Okay, one of the things that's been great for 2021 so far, and that I'm grateful for towards the end of the year, was I discovered Billions. Is anybody out there watching Billions? This episode that I think was on series that I think was on Showtime. I'm watching it through Amazon Prime, but I had to buy the episodes or something like that. But Billions is an amazing series, and because I'm at home more and I don't know what to do with myself, I'm watching more TV. But Billions is awesome. You know, it's about trading on Wall Street and the sort of the cat and mouse game between the traders that are walking the thin line of things that are legal and insider trading and the government oversight of watching them. So it's a pretty fun series, and it's super psychological and smart in terms of all the different kind of three-dimensional games, chess games that are being played in the episode. It kind of reminds me of The Sopranos in a way, where there's this psychological aspect, because remember, Tony used to go to his therapist. In this setting, in Billions, Bobby Axelrod, who is the main trader of Axe Capital, he's got a psychologist that works on staff, that a performance coach. She's called a performance coach, but she tries to help people out psychologically be better traders. So it's pretty insightful in terms of just the gamesmanship that goes on. Anyways, I'm really loving this series. If you're out there and you like kind of the stock market kind of things, you will love Billions. So check it out if you haven't discovered it. All right. Number 8. Okay, so a new thing that came up just recently. Not recently. I mean, I've been into talking about the stock market and such. I've been into investing for a long time. I started investing on the public markets, back in the early 90s, 91, 92, maybe even 1990. But more recently, I've been coaching friends and other people that have been reaching out to me about how to think about the stock market. And so over the last, I guess, 6 months or a year or so, there's been at least 5 or 6 people that I've opened up their mind and their eyes to investing and what it can do for them over the long haul. I'm a long-term, buy and hold kind of investor guy. But it's been super fun helping people out, and now they're starting to see the impact of how I've been guiding them. So that's been really a positive. It's fun for me to share my knowledge, and it's fun for them to, get their personal finances in order. So really cool. If anybody ever wants to talk about how to think about investing or the market, hit me up, All right, number 9, DoorDash. Yeah, DoorDash. I told you this list was a little crazy, right? It's just a little ad hoc off the top of my head, but I think a real positive thing for 2021 for me is DoorDash, because it's awesome. I just discovered it through these COVID times in terms of, food delivery and being worried about going back into stores and such. But since I found it, it's really I use it probably once a week now. I don't know if anyone else is using these food delivery services, but I encourage you to try it. And that's actually another reference in the priming guide. You'll get some discount in there from me, from Jim, if you click through the priming guide. But I'll tell you a funny story. How I discovered it for the first time. It's I was home back in in the throes again of the early COVID days. Wasn't sure what to do, and I'm like, I got to order some food. I didn't feel like going out. It was still winter. And I figured I'd try the delivery service, and I'm paging through, I downloaded the app, I'm paging through it, and one of the first things that comes up is Chick-fil-A as a place to order food from. And I hadn't had Chick-fil-A in forever, and I was, cooking at home. I hadn't had any restaurant food. And I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. So what I did was I ordered, this is a little crazy, 8 Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Because when I was a kid, I remember one of my friends going over to my friend's house, and their parents, they used to order Chick-fil-A sandwiches and just stock them up in the freezer as Scooby snacks. So when, their son's friends would come over, me, they'd be like, hey guys, do you want a chicken sandwich? And they would pull them out, put them in the microwave, and it was awesome. And I remember this probably going back 30 years ago. Anyways, so that's what I did. I'm like, I know, because I didn't want to keep ordering things. I was kind of paranoid about too many interactions at this point. So I'm like, let me just order a bunch of sandwiches. I'll throw them in the freezer, and it worked out amazingly. And now I DoorDash once a week. It's crazy. Anyways, all right, DoorDash. All right, number 10. Number 10. Okay, I'm taking sax lessons now with Steve Kortyka. So I should find his episode number. Is it on here? Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. So Steve is one of my musician friends. There it is, number 68. Looks like, yeah. Episode 68 he was on when he was escaping from New York. This was kind of in March time frame, I think, during COVID. So, New York was shutting down. He escaped actually in March, I think. He got out early. Good for him. Came back to Ohio, and I just reconnected with him and started talking to him. And because there's no gigs and nothing else going on anymore, towards the end of the year, last year I started taking some lessons with him, and he's been awesome. He's such a great resource with his knowledge base and experience. And he's turned me on to, like, for example, just to give one example of one of the things he turned me on to is Musescore. So M-U-S-E, Musescore, which is a music documentation program, helps you write music, etc. And he's got a new video out where he talks about how to use Musescore. All right, so search Steve Kortyka, Kortyka, and search for his video Musescore. Of course, he's got tons of videos out there of him playing and talking about jazz improvisation, all kinds of things. But if you're into the documentation for the music, that's a cool video he's got out right now. Anyways, thanks, Steve. That's going to be super positive for me in 2021 because I want him to kick my ass so I can turn into a shredder like he is. Okay. All right, number 11, my EHM pitcher. Okay, so I got a few things on this list that are related to, kind of health and wellness because of COVID times. I'm trying to keep my, immune system together. And one is this EHM pitcher, and it's a ultra premium alkaline water filter pitcher. So it's a pitcher that's got a filter in it that's of an activated carbon filter, I guess, that filters out any toxins that are in your water, in your tap water. It gives clean and toxin-free mineralized alkaline water in minutes. Okay, and it gives the water the right alkaline, the right pH. So it says up to a 9.5 pH. So I guess you want it more alkaline rather than acid in terms of keeping your body balanced, and that will keep you healthier. So anyways, that's a cool thing. My new EHM pitcher for 2021. All right, number 12, Facebook streaming. Okay, so I'm sure by now you know I play music, play saxophone, and so I want to give a shout out to Fiona's Den, Ricky Exton, one of my buddies, that's been running streams out of his new jazz club in his basement called Fiona's Den, and he got me into it, and I hadn't been playing much because everything is shut down. So I've done a few streams with him. I know I'll probably do a few more this coming year in 2021. So shout out to him, and shout out to all the other musicians I've been able to connect with, even though we were in this COVID time era. All right, number 13. Here's another random one. DuraFlame logs. Yeah. Can you tell I'm spending more time at home? Yeah. And, I don't have a lot of wood. I could order a cord of wood or something, but I got turned on to the DuraFlame logs like last March when I got home because everything was shut down. You couldn't go anywhere. And so now this time around coming into winter, I bought a bunch of them, and it's been awesome because I can just throw it on the fire, throw it in the fireplace, light it. And what's cool about it is that they burn so cleanly, they barely leave any ashes. So I must have burned 10 DuraFlame logs in my fireplace already, and I haven't had to clean out the ashes yet. So pretty cool. So thank you, DuraFlame logs. Okay, number 14. I have a new client. So something that just recently happened. So cool thing for going forward for 2021 is I'm coaching someone who's she's got a full-time job now, but she wants to change, and she wants to get into entrepreneurship. She wants to develop her own business of some sort. She doesn't know exactly what she's doing yet, but she's reached out to me, and I'm helping her. So now she's one of my clients. So that's a cool thing that starting to get clients more in this general way in the general entrepreneurship world that want to change and reinvent themselves. So, I've had some experience with it, and I like digging into that, and I know I can help her. And I've already helped her a few ways. We've just had a couple sessions, but I see that as a really cool thing going forward. And yes, that's one of the ways I'm reinventing myself. See, I told you, if you listen closely, you would pick up on these things. Okay, number 15. I've been reading more books and just grateful for Elon Musk, okay? I don't know if anybody's into Tesla out there or SpaceX or if you watch what's happening, but I have a book recommendation here. So the book by Ashlee Vance on Elon Musk, it's just titled Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the Quest for a Fantastic Future by Ashlee Vance. This thing is awesome. And, reading it kind of took me back into the heyday of my, tech career. So, it reminded me of all the chicanery and crazy nonsense of the kind of venture capital, techie startup world. Kind of reading about Elon's early days when he was, instrumental in PayPal, and how they, you're working in your own company and doing amazing things, and then some power play happens and the board takes over and they kick the owner out. They kick the owner out, the person who founded the company. All these crazy things that happen in these, tech-oriented startups that are moving so fast, kind of threw me back into that world, made me kind of put a smile on my face, reminded me of some things of how fun it was, but how glad I am to be out of it, quite honestly, because it could be super stressful. But I really appreciate those days. And so check it out if you haven't. And it gives you a lot of insight into Tesla and maybe into kind of technology and investing in general in terms of how you should view the world and the stock market. How people that are running these companies, on the surface you might think, oh, they're just doing it to make a lot of money or control things or whatever, but they're really super passionate. And when you understand what clarity someone like Elon Musk has with his vision, it makes you feel a lot better about investing in Tesla versus just listening to the trader heads on Wall Street. So that's a cool thing. All right, 16, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Okay, speaking about books, I've been checking out Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you haven't discovered him, really check him out. And I'm in the middle of his book right now, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Yeah, let me say that again. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, How to Lose Your Mind and Create a New One. So I read that title, I'm like, I'm all about that. How to lose your mind and create a new one. I love that. So he's really hip in terms of understanding how the mind works. And this is kind of a quasi-technical book. He talks about quantum physics in it and how your brain works and how on a quantum level that, we can kind of really reset and reprogram ourselves and break the habit of being ourselves, and it is a habit. So this is one of the coolest books I've found, and I've recommended it to a few people already. So if you haven't discovered it, check it out. Okay, number 17. Okay, so this is another thing that I'm trying to reinvent myself with right now as we're speaking. So I'm super grateful for my real estate agent, Melodie. Yeah. So she works at Progressive Urban. So if you're in the Northeast Ohio, Cleveland area, check out Melodie at Progressive Urban. I highly recommend her. She's awesome. She's been my real estate agent forever, for 20 years probably. And I'm thinking about buying a house. I put a bid on a couple houses. I feel like it's time, since I have this downtime, I'm not traveling so much, that this would be a thing that I've been thinking about doing for years, trying to figure out what's my next move. I've owned this duplex that I live in for a while. For a while, since like 2004 or 5. And it's been great, and it's been a great source of income. It's helped me be more financially independent. And but maybe it's time to move on and try something else and just stir it up a little bit. And I have kind of like this downtime to think about these things. So trying to find a new place to move to. So maybe we'll find a new house soon here, maybe not, but that's cool. I'm enjoying the process. Okay, number 18. Let's go back to books for a second here. And I've been concentrating, these last few are on sort of health and wellness related. This is a book by Dr. Richard Hansler. And the title of the book is Fight COVID-19 with Melatonin. Fight COVID-19 with Melatonin. And the subtitle is Maximize Natural Melatonin by Avoiding Blue Light in the Hours Before Bedtime. Supplement with melatonin tablets to reduce risk and improve outcome if you become infected. This is for COVID-19. So this is timely. And the reason I know about this book, and it's just a real thin book. Let me see how many pages it is. It is, it's about 73 pages. So it's just, and it's not big pages. And so I know Richard Hansler because when I first came back to Cleveland, he is a professor that was working at John Carroll University, and he's into optics and lighting. And he, previously worked at GE Nela Park, so he was a research scientist for them. He's a PhD in physics, and he was, worked for GE for like 43 years, and then retired and moved his research and stuff to John Carroll. And so he was doing research and hiring grad students and all that kind of stuff. When I first moved back to Cleveland, I started consulting with him. He gave me some consulting work. I reached out to him. Really cool guy, but I didn't know he was still out there. I figured he was retired. He's in his 90s, I think. But he just wrote this book just a few months ago, and it talks about the connection of melatonin and blue light. So he's into lighting, of course. And he's identified 470 nanometers as the blue wavelength. 470 nanometers as the blue wavelength. That is the trigger for you to stop making melatonin. So, melatonin, your body makes melatonin. When you go to sleep at night, it starts making melatonin. And melatonin is something that regulates your circadian rhythms. So if your body doesn't start making melatonin, it's harder for you to fall asleep. This happens naturally at night when it's dark out and when light goes away. Okay, because when you wake up in the morning and you see the sunlight's got a lot of 470 nanometer wavelength. That's the signal to your brain and body to turn off melatonin production, and that's why you wake up, and that's why you stay awake during the day. But because we're working with these devices like your computers and phones and TVs at night, they have a lot of blue light in them. That can interrupt the production of melatonin late at night when it should be produced, and it can interrupt your circadian rhythm, so you don't get as much sleep. But also, melatonin, it turns out, is something that can regulate in some ways your immune system. So you don't want to interrupt the production of melatonin. So that and that's the thing for COVID. That's the reason he's talking about it for fighting COVID-19. Don't interrupt your natural body's production of melatonin. Do what you can to block the blue light or stop looking at things that have blue light in them late at night before you go to bed, so that it won't interrupt your natural production of melatonin. Or you can supplement it, of course. Anyways, check out this book. It's really cool. It just reminded me, or just educated me on melatonin and how this affects your body. And he's got a website which is called lowbluelights.com, just LOW bluelights.com, where he sells products to help block blue light in your life. Okay, so he's got glasses or screensaver or screens for your devices that block the appropriate wavelengths, so that melatonin will not get shut down late at night if you're looking at those devices. So check that out. It's a cool book. Okay, number 19, another thing for 2021, and another person I'm grateful to is Dr. Irena, my friend Dr. Irena. She's turned me on to pre and probiotics and the proper vitamins to be taking, especially vitamin D. So again, for COVID and keeping your immune system together. And when you take vitamin D, so I guess, vitamin D is one of those things that goes away in the winter or is decreased in the winter. And most of us, especially that if you live in northern climates where there's not as much sun and we're indoors, etc., the sun on your skin helps you produce vitamin D. So we need to supplement it. But also, if you take too much vitamin D on its own, I guess you can get kidney stones. There's some other things to pay attention to about vitamin D. So she says to take it with K2. So you want to take D3, K2. You'll probably see that out there. Again, I'm not a doctor. Talk to your own doctor. I'm not trying to give you medical advice, but I'm thankful to her for reminding me to take care of my health in this way and to keep my immune system boosted. So that's the key with vitamin D. All right. Number 20. Okay, I got one more for health, but before we get there, number 20, because I'm thinking about 2021 again, is that for the first time I set a goal for my portfolio. So, like I said, I've been investing a long time, and I guess I'm just decided to take it more seriously the last few years, and that's been working out. And so now I'm stepping it up for 2021 to actually set a goal. So I kind of set, a goal I want to get to within 5 years of my portfolio, this, X amount of dollars. So I think I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to go, and to see how I can navigate the waters here with the markets coming up. Because, I think 2021 will be a decent year, should be, since the economy should come back a little more vibrant around the world. And that's good for companies. But there's this concern, I guess, that, interest rates are too low and there's been too much money injected into the world money systems and inflation. There's some worries out there as well. So it'll be a challenge for me to navigate it, but I think it'll be a fun one. And for the first time, I'm just decided to focus on it, and we'll see how it goes. All right, last one is 20. Gosh, it's 21 already here, people. Last one is I got a new humidifier. Again, another health-related one. It's called a Vornado. I can't remember. That's the brand name. Anyways, this is another way to keep you healthier and keep your immune system healthier, is to keep your sinuses healthier during the winter. If you're living up here in northern climates where the air gets really dry. So I have just a room humidifier that I put in my bedroom at night, and I always turn it on. And I've noticed a difference already. So over the last few years since I've been traveling to Asia, I haven't worried about it so much. But I really started it, at the end of last year, starting earlier in December. And I've really noticed a difference already. Usually I would start really getting sick by now, kind of in the winter. And that's why by the end of January, I book off to Asia or wherever to just get out of the cold weather. But I'm trying to deal with it because I'm going to be grounded here more so this winter. And so that's a good idea to find a humidifier for yourself. All right, so that's the 21 points of positivity for 2021. Thanks for listening, everybody. Remember, check out the new website, Reinvention.com. Download the priming guide. Like I said, that's the idea. If you're struggling with trying to change or reinvent yourself, get yourself primed for it, and you'll see the 7 simple steps to prime yourself for reinvention that are in there. I mentioned, kind of referenced a couple of them already, but I don't want to give away all my secrets yet. Just go ahead and download it. And I look forward to all the other new episodes that I'll be jamming out this year. And again, thanks for listening. And, I'd love to know what you think about the priming guide and the new website. So if anybody has any comments, just shoot them back to me. There's a button on the website to contact me if you want to, so you can just drop some comments in there. And I think it says on there, what's your reinvention? So if you want to drop a little story about what you're doing or cool things that you're inventing in your life, let me know. Maybe I'll share them on the show. Okay. All right, that's all I got for now. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for listening to Jim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. If you want to hear more, join our mailing list at jimjimsreinventionrevolution.com. See you next time, and remember, the revolution has just begun. So dig in, embrace the process of reinvention, and start realizing the success you've always dreamed of. Hey, revolutionaries, if you enjoyed today's episode and today's guest, let them know by commenting on their Facebook page, finding their Twitter handle or Instagram feed, and letting them know you heard them on Jim's Reinvention Revolution podcast, and tell them what you got out of the episode, what you really liked, or how they inspired you. I know they would get a kick out of it, and will help others find the same value that you found.